Alright everyone, let's go back to Java. So you have seen why Java is very important. Not for all of them, but for some of them. Okay. Yeah. So what did we learn in the last class? Value types and reference types. Agreed? Yeah. So I will start a new concept today, objects and everything. Yeah. Thank you. All right. Okay. 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 We have learnt about value types. Value types hold value. Generally, value types cannot share value. Value types cannot exist without value. Okay. So they might seem like simple sentences, but you know what does they mean. Okay. So coming back, let's go into what is object. What is object? In object oriented programming, what is object, what is class? Anyone, can anyone tell me this? Can anyone tell me what is object, what is class? Anyone? Object has properties. Object is an entity. Anything that goes into heap is object. Yes, agreed. Instance of a class is object. Object is an entity with attributes and values. Anything more than that. Then what is class? Class is entity. Agreed. Class is set of variables and methods. Agreed. Everyone is correct. Okay. What is the difference between object and class then? Tell me what is the difference between object and class? What is the difference between object and class? Class helps create objects. Class is an instance, object is an instance of class. Perfect. Object is instance of class. Perfect, undoubtedly. Okay. Alright, so thing is, when you write int I is equal to 10, is I a single value or multiple values? Is I a single value or multiple values? It's a single value. Any single value is called scalar. What does scalar mean? Let's come to our basics. What does scalar mean? Scalar value. Scalar means it's single. It's single dimensional. Agreed? It's a single dimensional thing is scalar. Agreed? So there is 10. That's it. There is number 10. One of them. Agreed? So for example, yes, measurable. Yes, you can measure it in one dimension. Okay. So then there is, coming back, let's say, for example, let's say there is one RAM and you can put RAM and hard disk and also processor and make a machine, right? Make a laptop or make a desktop or anything, CPU. Agreed? CPU is also, so for example, the thing is, everything, real world is all about entities. Real world is all about entities. These entities are nothing but, what is an entity? Entity is a composition. What does this composition mean? Composition means putting things together to make something is called composition. Am I clear? For example, let's say you put some plastic together and you put a cap to make a water bottle. But is water bottle a plastic? Do you give me plastic or something? No, right? It's made, we are making a water bottle there. So like entity. For example, there is a car. We put an engine, we put some tires, and we put some seats, and we put some other body and everything to make what a car. But is car really meant to store them, all of them, to put together? Why did we put together? To make a car. Because car is a new entity. Agreed? So we put things together to create new things. Composition, that is called composition. So classes are compositions. Classes are compositions. So let me tell you this again. There are scalar types. Scalar types. There are some non-scalar types too. Means you take things together. You take things together and make entity. So entity is nothing but composition of attributes. A entity is nothing but a composition of attributes. If you think like an employee table in your SQL, employee table has ID, name, right, salary, and all this. This is nothing but all these things make up an employee. So if there is no salary, that is not an employee. Agreed? If values cannot exist without a value, right? Yes, value types cannot exist without a value. So if there is an I should have some value. I should be 0, I should be 10. You cannot say just I have an I without a value. You can't say like that. That is value type. Agreed? So coming back to objects, okay? Coming back to objects. So if there is an employee table, means you are telling that employee table has ID, name, and salary. So if you define employee with all these attributes, can you have an employee without a name, without a salary? Means you will have at least 0. You will have at least null. But you should put something for that column. Means that column is still there for that employee. Agreed? So you can tell that nothing can be a value for a column, but you can still see it is part of that definition. So every employee has all of this. Agreed? So employee is a composition. But if you say ID is an integer, see, ID is an integer. So if you just put an integer outside, it is a single value. But you put together a integer and you put together a string, name string, and you put together salary like decimal, double. You put together 3 items. You put together 3 items like ID, name, and salary to make up an employee. They are not there to store into one part. They are there to create a new item called employee. So class is nothing but composition of attributes. Okay, class is nothing but a composition of attributes. Am I clear? Okay. For example, see, you are writing class. For example, in Java you write class. For example, let's say in SQL you say create table employee with this column like ID, name, and everything. So do you have an employee there? When you create a table, do you have an employee there in the Oracle database? Do you have an employee there? Do you have an employee there? No. When do you really have an employee? When do you really have an employee? No, there is no employee there. When do you really have an employee? How do you really put an employee? When we create, how do you create? How do you create? How do you create employees into employee table? Insert into employee, and you will give this one and values ID. So one, and you will say name, like let's say, got it? This is creating employee, because if there is an employee, the employee should have an ID, employee should have a name, and employee should have salary. If you can't tell the name or ID or salary, there is no employee. So here you are creating the definition of the employee. When you are creating a table, you are creating the definition of the entity. Here you are really creating an entity. This is real entity. See, who is representing the real world? This guy or this guy? Who is representing the real world? For example, if you put my name here, who is representing the real world? This guy or this guy? This guy or this guy? Insert into means the real employee is a row, tuple. Agreed? Real employee is a tuple. It's not the table. Table is a definition of that entity. Similarly, in Java, first you write, you will say public class employee. So let's write an employee. Okay, so everything is a class. Class is nothing but a definition of an entity. So let's go to this one. Let's go here. Let's go and say create a new class. And please don't do this public static void main. Don't do that for now. Say employee. Just say employee here. Just say employee and create. So this is a class employee. You can say that this employee will have public int employee ID, public int employee ID, public string employee name, public string or public double employee salary. Agree? So if you see, I created a table here, means I created a definition, I create a class. So class is the definition of an entity. Class is the definition of entity. So is this guy really a real world entity or the definition of an entity? Class. Is class really an entity or a definition of an entity? Means it's a definition of an entity. What if it is a real entity? Can tell me the name of the, so from here definition, tell me the name of the employee then. Tell me the name of the employee. There is no employee here. There is only definition of the employee here. Agreed? So, agreed. So then how do you really create an employee? So generally in Java you can write it here only. You can write public static void main here, public static void main here. So remember, you have to write this irrespective, even though you like it or do not like it. For example, you want to create an employee. How will you create employee? That is called creating employee object. Object is the real entity. For example, you will say employee E is equal to new employee. You see this? New is the keyword which will create a new employee every time. So new is the keyword. Here we don't have. These are called instances. Perfect. Those are nothing but objects. Objects are instances. Object is an instance of a class. That's what you told me, right? So now, what is this guy's salary and everything? We don't know. We have to give it. E dot employee ID is equal to 101 and E dot employee name is equal to, let's say, I will use someone's name here. So Vijaya. Okay. And E dot employee salary is equal to, and again string is double quotes in Java. Okay, and let's say, okay, all right. Okay, so if you see here, I create, now this is an employee. So where is this employee? See, in database the employee is in table, is in a row. So where is this employee? In Java, where is the employee? Java is logic. Where does logic run? Where does logic run? In memory, RAM. Agreed? So this employee object is in memory. So this is not memory. Public class. Class is the definition. It is there. We use this definition to make an employee. So when I say, see, I said that there is an employee. Like, see, I said there is an employee. So did I really create an employee here? No. When I say new employee, that means I create a new object in memory. So what is really an object in memory? So now let's go and see our heap and stack story again. Why didn't I use main method when I created the class? Because I didn't wanted to write the main method in the same class, but I changed my mind later. Arthi. Okay, very good. And really, you are asking good questions, Arthi. Okay, so now coming back, new. Okay, let's not. Yeah. Okay, let's go to this paint. Yeah. Okay, so this is the stack guy and this is the heap guy. Okay, remember everyone, stack and heap. Yeah, no problem, Martha. Sometimes it takes time, but finally everyone will get it. It's easy because every one of you can do it. It's all about like how much you are giving in and how much I am giving in. Okay. Yeah. All right. So no problem. So come back again. For example, when you say this employee equal to new employee, do you see this new employee? Like when I said, see, I created a definition, public class employee, and in the program I will say employee is equal to new employee. This right side, new employee. So what does the employee contain? Tell me, what does an employee contain? What does an employee contain? What does an employee contain? Attributes. So what are those attributes? Employee ID. So now in the memory, all the objects are created in the heap. Objects are never created on the stack. Only value types and the program starting points and everything will go into stack. All the objects are created. This object new employee, a box. See, objects are composition. They are boxes. Agreed? A box is created. Means really in real world there won't be any box, but it's a visual representation. And now every employee contains what? Every employee contains what? Go to the employee definition, you will know. Employee contains employee ID, employee name, salary. So what is employee ID? Integer. How many bit it is? 32 bit. I will create a box with 32 bits employee ID. Now I will create an employee name. It's a string. So I will keep, by default it's there will be something. There will be a pointer actually. Double is 64 bit. I will create a 64 bit double. Agree? So these three things memory are created inside this box. Agreed? A box will be created and these three things are created inside the box because these are its attributes. So a object is on the heap. This is the heap memory and object is on the heap. Agreed? This is the heap memory, object is on the heap. So generally objects are reference types. Now coming back to our reference type story. Reference types means a reference type is a type which does not hold value. Agreed? They do not hold value. They point to value. Agreed? So they point to value. They do not hold value. They point to value. So now this E is a pointer. If you see, this E is pointing to this new object. So if you see, when I say int I is equal to 10, so let's say int I is equal to 10, I is 10. So this box I, if I put here this box I is 10. There is 10 inside this. But when I say employee E is equal to new employee, this E is not new employee. This E is nothing but a pointer to that employee. If you see this, he is nothing but a pointer to employee. All the objects are reference types. Anything which is coming from a class is a reference type. See, who created integer? Tell me. Did we create an integer? Who defined integer? Who defined integer? Who defined integer? Program. What does program mean? No, it's not an inbuilt function. It's not a function. It's a type. There is a difference between a data type and a function. For example, in Oracle, who created number? Oracle created it. Java created it because that is part of Java's definition. That is part of Oracle's definition. Agree? So who created number in Oracle? Oracle created it. Who created integer in Java? Java created it. So I didn't create it. My employee ID is integer. So I am using that type to tell that this employee ID is that type. But who created that type? Who created that type? Java created it. Now coming back, this employee object, this object E is type of employee. Who created this employee? Who created this employee? We created it. Any class we create is a reference type. Means we are creating types. We are making new types. Agreed? So we make every class is a new data type. You understand, right? Every class is a type because we can create something. If we create a type, we can create instances of it. For example, if there is an integer, we are creating many integers. If there is an employee, we are creating many employees. So employee is a type. An employee object is the instance. Understood? Employee object is the instance. So that's what I'm saying. So this point E, we created an object using this type. So these are reference types. Anything which comes from a class is the reference type. So if there is a class, if someone creates an object tomorrow, that is the reference type. Means object goes to heap. Agreed? And there will be a pointer. There will be a pointer. Okay, so let's go back. So if you see here now, so here there is a employee, so we have a E pointer pointing to this one. For example, now I will write some other thing. So now I will say employee F is equal to new employee. But the pointer will be in the stack. Yes, generally the pointer will be in the stack, but the pointer can go anywhere later, not right now. Okay, but now the pointer is in stack. Agreed? So until now the story is still in stack. Okay. Alright. Is this employee same? Is this employee and this employee same? This employee same? No, they are two different. So is there another block of memory here in the heap? Is there another block? When you say new, is there another block of memory? Yes, every time you say new, there is a new object in the memory. So if you see a new, it's a new. Agreed? So there is new. Now this F is a pointer. Here F is the pointer. Agreed? F is the pointer and F is pointing to this one. Agreed? Okay, F is pointing to this one, and I will say F dot employee ID is equal to 102, and always end with a semicolon. Every statement in Java ends with a semicolon. F dot employee name is equal to, let's say, Tripti, and F dot employee salary is equal to okay, can't use. Okay, all right. Okay, so if you see here, two employees are there. So is this employee, F employee has anything to do with E employee? Nothing. Agreed. So now I will say int I is equal to 10, int j is equal to 20. You see that? Is I, so what is the difference between E and I now? Can anyone explain me? I will unmute if anyone wants to talk about what is the difference between E and I. That's what I explained until now. So can anyone tell me there in their own words? Does anyone wants to speak? Okay. I is a value type. Very good. E is a reference type. E is a reference type and I is a int holding the value. So I holds value. E does not hold value. E is a pointer to value. Agreed? So E really does. E is not an employee. E has address to that employee. Agreed? Very good. Next. I cannot exist without value and E can exist without value. Means what does E existing with value? You can tell E is equal to null. So for example, if this is the case, E is equal to null means E doesn't have anything. E is equal to null means E doesn't have anything. That's it, done. Means I am not pointing to anything. Okay, but you cannot say I is equal to null. You can't do that because I is a value type. You can't never do I is equal to null. For example, let's try. It will kick you out. Okay, great, because I cannot exist without value. So that is the difference, major difference. This is pointing to value, this is value. Okay, even you don't see that in the code, but it's behind. Now coming back, now I will say I is equal to j. Can anyone tell me what will be the value of I, what will be the value of j? What will be the value of I, what will be the value of j? Both are, think about it, which one will change, left side or right side will change? Which one will change, left one or right one? Left will change. So what will left one will become? Right one. What will be the right one? It's 2020. Agreed? So if you run this, it will be 2020. Similarly, if you see here, similarly, what I will do is like, I will say E is equal to F. E is equal to F. Now tell me, for example here I will say, I want to see is employee ID. See, as E is a pointer, if we want to see, another thing I forgot to mention, employee is a composition. That is why E has so many things. E is not a scalar value. That is why we use dot to get employee ID. We use dot to get employee name. So E is a composition. I is a scalar value. That is also another difference. Okay. So E dot, what is E dot employee name and what is F dot employee name now? Tell me. Is it both Tripti or is it both Vijaya? Or is it Tripti and Vijaya? Okay. Alright. Okay. Now I will ask you. Okay. Now there is, I will say I is equal to 15. And I will say E dot employee name is equal to, I will say instead of Vijaya, I will say Vijaya S. Okay. Now tell me what will it print? Both of them. Now tell me what will it print? At the end, what will it print? Kavita, think about it. You're close. Write me like 2020 like that, like that. Write me in one sentence. Okay. Alright. I is equal to 20. What is the value of I? Yes, Rani, we can come to office tomorrow. J is 20, I is 20, no. Forget about this one. Forget about what it prints here. What will it print here now? So I am asking, what is the value of Y at the end? What is the value of I? Just tell me I. I is 15. What is the value of J? What is the value of J? 20. What is the value of E dot employee name? What is the value of E dot employee name? Vijay S. What is the value of F dot employee name? What is the value of F dot employee name? So you are saying it will be Tripti. So same means what? Arti. Vijay S. Yes, you are right. It will be Vijay S. Simple. Okay, both of you got right. Rani and Arti told this, right? Okay, let's see this one. Okay. See, there is I and I has 10 inside this. Agreed? There is J and J has 20 inside this. First, this is the story. Then you said I equal to J. I equal to J means you take J and put it into I. So what will happen? I and J both become what? 20. Agreed? I and J both become 20. 20. Then what did you do? Then you went and said that I is equal to just 15. So you go to just I and you make this to 15. You make this to 15. So what will happen finally? So this will become 15. So this is 15, this is 20. Are we good? These both are different. That is the reason this. Okay. Then coming back. First you create E and you create the object and you say this is Vijay S. Agreed? This is Vijay S. Fine. You create F and you will create an object and you will say this is Tripti. Agreed? You will say this is Tripti. So this is Vijaya, this is Tripti. Fine. Then you will say E is equal to F. So what is inside this F? What is inside this F? Here it is, there is 20 and you copy 20 here. There is 20, you copy 20 here. What is inside this F? Is there Tripti inside this F? No. Address to Tripti is inside this. Am I clear? There is a difference. There is 20 inside this. There is no 20 inside this. There is address to Tripti object is here. Here you copied 20. Here you copy the address to this location. So what will happen? You will copy whatever is here into here. So what happens automatically? Tell me. This guy is now pointing to this one. Agreed? Done. Am I clear? So now you copied, so both are pointing to now E dot object is pointing to Tripti and F dot object is pointing to Tripti. Now you come and say, you come to E and you will say that I will change this to Vijaya S. Vijaya S. Now what is F dot employee name? Now what is F dot employee name? What is F dot employee name? If E dot employee name is this one, what is F dot employee name? Simple, Vijay S. Here both are Vijay S. There both are not Vijay S. Agreed? So that is the difference between value types do not share. They hold value. They are value. They give copy of their value. Reference types, they don't hold value. They are addresses to the value. So when you copy them, you get the address of the value. So both references can point to a single value. And you can use any references book. For example, think like, I have cash. Can I share with you? No. If I go to the store, I will spend it. For example, I have credit card and I will give a add-on card to you. If you go to the store, I go to the store, same thing will happen. Agreed? So that is the difference between value types and reference types. Are we clear? All right. Very good. Okay. Next thing. So we covered objects. There is one more thing I need to tell you. Can you explain pass by value? Yes, that will be the next thing. Before my end of my class, that will be the next thing. So today I will cover pass by value, and also I will cover how to write classes and everything, and then I will start with branching statements. Before we go home, I will start with. So she was talking about arrays and loops in QTP. No idea. I will explain that. Don't worry. I will explain loops, and she will talk about arrays. Okay? Yeah. Do not worry. Alright. Again, see, these concepts look very good in the theory. It's all when you do programming, that is where the real problem comes. So, if you don't program, this concept will be gone. So it's better to take this concept and put it in a program. Programming is tough. See, when you go and learn a new language, even in the real world, it will be tough to adapt it to usage. Similarly, when you are programming also, it will be tough. Even though you know the concept, it will take time to really program. But it is not very far away if you really know the concepts very well. Okay? Alright. So coming back, let's go into yeah. See, before I told entity definition is table in database and class in programming, object oriented programming, not normal programming. Entity has attributes. So attributes are nothing but columns. So columns in this one, and it's nothing but variables in programming. So variables. So if you see here, a class contains variables. The class contains variables. So the employee class contains 3 variables. Agreed? So employee class contains 3 variables. So we have 3 variables. So that is employee class. So now remember, in databases there is no logic. Only data storage and data retrieval. So actually when you are doing programming, in programming we need logic. Programming is all about logic. So, one second. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah. So in programming, it's all about logic. Can everyone hear me now? All right. Okay. So in programming is all about logic. Logic is part of entity. Logic is part of entity. So that is the reason functions and methods. Functions and methods are also part of entity only. So when you have an entity, like let's say you wrote same entity here. See, I wrote entity here. Let's come back. Okay, I wrote entity here. So public class employee, and I write public int employee ID, public string employee name, and all this. These are attributes. These are attributes of the entity. Now similarly I can write logic for that entity. See, I started this entity, I am closing this entity. I can also write logic for the entity. For example, I want to withdraw. Let's say public. So generally in Java everything starts with public. Don't ask me why. Okay, for now everything starts with public. Okay, don't ask me about this public and everything. Okay, so public void withdraw. So if you see here, withdraw is a method, or let's say public void, let's say there are, so you will use methods and functions. So let me explain you some theory before methods and functions. Can anyone tell me what is the difference between function and procedure? Function versus procedure. Can anyone tell me what is the difference between function versus procedure? Or a method? Method is all this. Procedure has terminology method or subroutine. These are all same. Okay. So tell me what is the difference between function, procedure, method, and subroutine? Function returns value. Procedure does not return back. Agreed? For example, see, you want to get employee salary. Public string get, let's say, get employee details. Get employee details means this function will give you out, this function will give you out some details. So there will be a return statement, which will return you employee ID plus employee name. For example, it will return you just like that. For the sake of the programming, I am writing this, so don't take this syntax seriously. Okay, so if you see this one, when I say this is function actually means it gives you value. For example, if you are, let's say tomorrow someone is creating an employee is equal to new employee. Okay, and they will say e dot get details, get employee details. If they use this function, it will give you what? It is giving you a string. So this is called return type. It will give you string. So this is a function which gives you a string. So you should put it in a string back. String details is equal to this one. Means this is the function. This guy is the caller. Whoever is calling the function will get a result. Whoever is calling a procedure will not get a result. So if he is getting a result, he should put into something or he should print it out. Either he should put it into something or he should print it out. Agreed? So a function will return, functions return value. That value will be part of this method signature. This is called method signature. The type which is gives you back and name of the function. Do you see this? For example, there are other functions. Yes. For example, there are methods. Method means, let's say public void. Void means I don't give you anything back. That is called void. For example, let's say do something. Let's say for example, let's say print details. This will not, what will it do? It will do system.out, sysout means sysout. I will just write. So it will print all these details. So does this give anything back to the caller? No. For example, if you do e dot print details, you can directly use this function. You don't have to put it into anything because it does not give anything. That is called void. The same thing in VB, you will say public function, like let's say function something like as string end function. This is in VB, you write a function. Subroutine does, like let's say something and end sub. Do you see this? It will return string. This will not return anything. Means not only string, it can be anything which can return. Am I clear? This is how you write it in VB script. You'll write VB script like that. Agreed? Okay, so function returns and this doesn't return. And there is one more thing, you can pass inputs also. You can pass inputs also. Okay, let me do one thing. I will explain the inputs also here too. So you can pass inputs. For example, let's say you want to withdraw. Let's say you want to withdraw, public void withdraw. You want to withdraw from this account or employee. So sorry about that. I am thinking this as account. For example, you want to give bonus to the salary. Let's say you want to give bonus. Okay, so public void add bonus. Okay, or let's say hike salary. Agreed? So you will say, you will pass int percentage. So you are passing the percentage for the hiking into this method. This is called parameter. Agreed? This is called parameter. How do you write parameters in VB script? By val, let's say percentage as integer. That is how you write. This is called parameter. So what is a method mean? A method, see, in Java we call, this is called return method, this is called void method. So we call functions as the return methods. These are functions, but we call them as return methods. So function returns, a method does not return. So when you, what is that actually method means? A method is nothing but a return type plus the name of the method plus its parameters. This is called a method signature. What is the signature of a method? The name of the method, the return type and the parameters. Am I clear here? Did everyone get what are functions and methods? That is nothing but logic. These are nothing but set of statements. A logic function or a method is set of statements. It executes logic. Sometimes it gives back, sometimes it doesn't give back. Are we clear here? One second. Everyone, is it okay? This is very important. People ask many times, what is the difference between function and a procedure? Okay. All right. Next thing. All right. So there is, I will write this employee class again, or let's write some other thing. Account class, public int account number, public double account balance, public, okay, let's use this one, account balance. For example, public void withdraw int or double amount, and we'll say account balance is equal to account balance minus amount. Okay, this is deposit. Okay, this is plus. So you understood how we wrote the account function, account class. So entity is a combination of attributes and methods, operations, that are called operations. Void is a procedure. Yes, it's a method. Yes, I will definitely upload the scripts onto the code section in the Whitebox QA site. Okay. All right. Okay, account balance. So this is how we are writing logic for a account class, account entity. Agreed? So now let's go into something called pass by value and pass by reference. This is really important. Can a function call another function? Can a function call another function? Can that other function call other function? There can be like 10 functions inside one function calling another function, another calling function, like this can be like, is there any limit for this? Is there any limit for this? No, simple. Programming is nothing but writing functions and calling other functions. See, why IT evolves so fast? Because there is the reusability here. There is no reusability elsewhere. Because you don't have to create programs from new. If you have a function written by someone else, use it. You already got that program. You understood, right? You don't have to create. We create top of everything else. For example, think like you have to build Bay Bridge and you have to build Golden Gate Bridge. Bay Bridge has nothing to do with Golden Gate Bridge. You have to start from scratch again. Am I correct? If you have a software, Intuit, and if you want to build something else with Intuit, you can build over this. Am I clear here? Agreed. I don't know which one was built first, Golden Gate or Bay Bridge. Alright, coming back, we are taking care of pass by value and pass by reference. Yeah, so actually let me tell about this. This is the most asked Java question. Pass by value, pass by reference. Okay. People will ask you, what is pass by value? Okay. What is pass by value? Alright. So now, this is a main function. Do you see this? Main is a method. Now you understand why main is a method. This is a class. Main is a method which has a parameter of string array args. Main is a method. Void. Why it is void? Tell me everyone, why is main void? What does void mean? Why is main void? Because it does not return anything. It does not return anything. Very good. Alright, very good. Okay, now coming back. So let's say there is another method called public static void calculate. Okay. Okay. Okay, agreed. Calculate. Okay. So let's use C, small c. Okay. Alright. Now coming back. Here int I is equal to 10. Int j is equal to 20. Okay. There is a I here. This is a parameter to this calculate function or calculate method, and I will be 20. Okay. See this carefully. Is this I has anything to do with this I? Tell me. Is this I has anything to do with this I? Aarti, I am asking you again, is this I has... See, remember, when you are saying int I means you are defining an I. When you are saying I equal to 10 means you are assigning a value to I. See, when you start with the data type means you are creating that I, you are starting the I again. When you say I equal to 10 means you already defined, you are using that I. This is defining an I, this is using an I and putting 10 to it. This is called assignment. This is called assignment. This is called declaration. Agreed? Yeah. So they are not same. So this is anything. See, if you define something in one method and it won't be in another method. I defined this I in this method. So this method is different than this method because this logic will be different and this logic will be different. Agreed? Now what will I do is like I will call this function from here. I will say calculate I. Calculate I. Now tell me what is the value of I here. What is the value of I? Shilpa, what is the value of I? Think about it again. Alright, there is a, again let's go to our stack and heap story again. Okay, so this will be maybe last but first one time before going there. Okay, alright. I have, sorry. Okay, this one, this is stack. I want to tell you one thing. Every method runs in separate stack. Every method has its own stack. Every method runs in its own separate memory. Think like that. Okay. Now there is a main method. If you see, there is a main method. Okay. So now there is a main method. So what happens? So first the main method executes. So this is the main method. Okay. Alright, main method actually starts here. Main is always starting point of the program. So it is the main stack. Agreed? So that is the main stack. Here you created I equal to 10. So you create I and inside that there is 10. Am I clear? There is also string args also is part of this one also. String array args is also part of this one. I is part of this one. Now I take this I and I pass into calculate. I go into calculate. So there is a different memory for calculate. So this is a different memory for calculate. And there is also an I inside this. There is an I inside this. Agreed? So there is, this is the calculate memory. And there is, so now I have to give this I into this I. How will I give? If I have to give a value type, will I give myself or will I give a copy of myself? Value types. Value types always give what? Their copies. They cannot give by themselves. So what? They give this to, you copy 10 here and you pass 10 here. Agreed? So what went here? 10. Now this guy said in this block there is a program which came and said that become 20. So this became 20. So will this change this one? If you change this one, will it change? No. So what will be the value of this I here? What will be the value of I? 10. Perfect. So this is called pass by value. Means you just send a copy of you. You don't send yourself. That is called passing from one program to another program, one function to another function, one method to another method. You pass the variable by value. Means you pass the variable by copy of it. That is called pass by value. That is called pass by value. Agreed? Alright, let's see the story again. Now I will write another method. So let's say this is called, calculate 1. Okay, I will say calculate 1. And this guy will take employee E. And let's say here I will comment this one for now. I will comment this. I will explain all the comments and Pascal case and all this after this one. Okay. So coming back here, E dot employee name is equal to, so let's see who's there, Sujaya. Okay. All right. Now I will create a employee E here. E is equal to new employee. Agreed? And I will say E dot employee ID is equal to 201. E dot employee name is equal to Srivalli. E dot employee salary is equal to, let's say, okay, all right. You see this? Okay, see this carefully. There is a employee I created this employee in main method, and I have this employee ID equal to 201. I have this employee name equal to Srivalli. Employee salary is equal to this one. Then I will pass this into what? Calculate. I pass this E into calculate 1. I will pass this E into calculate 1. Okay. Now tell me, what is the name of employee? Is it Srivalli or Sujaya? Or something else? You tell me. Is it Srivalli or Sujaya? Think about it. I know some of you never answer to any question online. See, if you are online, if you type there, I will get some understanding that, how you are thinking, how you are approaching and everything. So it's not personal that I should know it, but if you do that, it will give me a clear idea about yourself. And that will help definitely in your marketing, preparation, mocks and everything. So it's not that I want to bother you. Okay. So everyone, even the current batch, if you are listening to this class, if you understand this, you should let me know, right? Okay. Okay, Innovapath is saying that I'm still drawing stack and heap in my head. That is good. Okay, so think like this now. This is very important. I'm confused. No problem. Okay, say the same thing. See, I will create the same stack again. I will create the same stack again, but this time we will create heap also, because there is an object here. Before there was no object. Okay, now see this one. I did first main method. I started in the main method, right? I have string args, just like before I have string args. But do I have an I here? No. I have employee E here. But is E a value type or reference type? Is E a value type or reference type? Tell me. Reference. So E is pointing to what? An object. Is object created? Yes, new object. So new employee. Inside this there is a employee ID, there is employee name, and there is employee salary. And what is the name here? What is the name? Srival. Agreed? And this E is pointing to, where? This guy. Agreed? Am I right? So there is 65K, 201 and Srivalli here. Now what happened? I go into calculate 1. You are passing this E into calculate 1. So calculate 1 is what? It's a different method. It's a different stack. And there is a E inside this. There is a E inside this. What is by default? It's nothing. Because E is a reference type. It is pointing. There is a pointer. It is not pointing to anything. Now you need to copy from here to here. You need to copy from here to here. What is there inside this one? Here there was 10. You copied 10 to here. It became 10. Later someone came and changed it to 20. What is here? Is there 10, 20? Srivalli, Sujaya, who is here? Is there Srivalli or Sujaya? No, there is an address. So you copy this address to here. What happens? Finally this guy is also pointing to this one. Agreed? So you copy this address to here. So what happens? This guy is pointing to here. Now from this guy you will come and here and you will change it to whom? You will change this to what? Sujaya. So you will say this is Sujaya now. Okay. So now you are done. You delete this. So when you are done, what happens? You get deleted this. You get deleted this. You come back here. When you come back here, this is pointing to Srivalli or Sujaya. Sujaya. Agreed? So simple. See, in Java there is pass by value only. You copy. If it is a value type, you copy the value. If it is a reference type, you copy the reference. That is called pass by value. Okay? That is called pass by value. Yeah, no problem, Prasanna. What is pass by reference? Very good, Tripti. Pass by reference means you create a copy of the employee object and you pass a reference. That is called pass by reference. You create a copy of the object. You don't create the copy of the object here. Agreed? Alright, so coming back now. So we are done with the pass by value. Okay. Alright, pass by value and pass by reference. There is some things I want to tell you before we get done with this class. Okay. Alright. The first thing is how to write code in Java. Okay. We know that Java is case sensitive. So if you write string, they are different. Okay. Java follows a pattern. Java follows a pattern. The pass by value, the final answer is we got is 10. See, we have 10, we have Sujaya. So it's passed by, so Shilpa, can you ask it again? Shilpa, ask me it again. Okay, let me unmute you so we can talk. Alright? 1 second. I definitely want it to clear for everyone. So that's not a problem for me. So you can ask me as many times you want. Shilpa, can you hear me?
Yeah, Sampath. Hi, Sampath.
Yeah, how are you?
Good, Sampath.
So the thing is, yeah, go ahead. You tell me. Yeah.
At first thing in the main method, we put the value as 10, right?
Yes, 10. That is I
and
is 10.
And then later in the calculate method, we did put as 20.
20.
So in this, you are saying that we are copying the value.
We are copying the value means we are copying the number 10 into this I to that I.
Yeah. So first in the main method, it should become 20, right?
No, it will not become 20 because this is a different I, this is a different I. You agree that, right?
Yeah.
So here this was 10. I copy, for example, think like that. You came and asked me, for example, I have in my pocket $100. You came and asked me to give me my value. How much is my value? $100. I'll go to a copy machine, I will make the $100 copy and I will give it to you. If you go and spend it in the store, do I really care? Will it change me? No. For example, I am carrying a credit card. You come to me and you ask me a copy of it. I will give you a copy of my credit card. You will go and swipe it in the store. Will it really bother me?
Yeah.
Yeah, simple. You got it. You understood right now?
Oh.
I am giving still copy only. But copy of a value type is value. Copy of a reference type is a reference.
So here the credit card is a reference.
Yes. Because it's not value. Credit card is not the money. Credit card is a pointer to the money.
So in the pass by value, the 10 is remaining same 10.
No, we are still using pass by value for both of them. But we are passing, that concept is called, if you make a copy, that is called pass by value. You understood, right?
Yeah.
That concept is called pass by value because you make a copy.
Okay.
So the concept is copied. But if you pass by value a value type, the value is copied. If you pass by value a reference type, the reference is copied.
Okay. So in the main method we had 10 first.
Yes, 10.
Then again in the another method calculate we got 20.
We got 20 because you, for example, this guy gave this guy 10. But this guy
Yeah.
took the 10 and he did something else. Will his 10 is with him because he gave the copy of 10. Did he give his 10? He gave the
No.
copy of the 10. This guy went and did whatever he want. I don't care. When you come back, it will never, value types never share.
Okay, these two are different entities here. Here
These
the
two are
main method.
different memory. Their memory is different. This memory is different, right? This value is different. This value. If you go and change this to 100 also, I don't care.
Okay, the second person will be having the 100 itself.
See, yeah, same 10 is there. Now coming here, this guy, is this guy carrying 10?
No, it's just address.
This is a pointer to something. Agreed?
Yeah.
This is a pointer to something. This guy asked a copy for it. Still he gave a copy for it.
Okay.
Agreed?
Yeah.
For example, this guy gave a copy for it. He gave the copy. Still this guy is, so copy means what? You are still pointing to my account.
Okay.
So if this guy does something, what will affect? My pointer also will be affected.
Okay.
Simple. If you come and ask me car, if I make a copy of my car, that is value type.
Oh yeah.
If I give a copy of my keys,
that's a copy.
that is
That's
a
a
reference
reference.
type. So you can still bother my car. Agreed?
Yeah.
If I give you a copy of my car, you can't bother my car. Agreed? I can't make a copy of my car, right? It's easy to make copy of keys but not cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Is anyone else who has questions regarding this? See, it will be confusing. It should be confusing. If it is not confused, if you are not confused, it won't be cleared. It should confuse you. You should go back and you should read. You should do some program. Then you should understand it. I will tell you, someday when you are programming one day, all of a sudden you will get that concept without knowing it. That day you will feel enlightened. In programming, you will find so many moments where you are enlightened. So that has to happen. You need to give it time. You need to let it go. Now. Yeah. So Rashmi is telling me that it happened to her. Actually, Rashmi is the one I was telling the example before, right? In the beginning of the class, I was talking about her. So you have to get enlightened in programming. We can't do anything about it. Okay? Yeah. The many times you learn programming, the many times you do it, that is good for you. Yeah, Satya, you have a question?
Yes, but like, see, this is passing by, you said, right? So in the first one, like, it is pointing to, it's a like address and different type, but it's pointing to the heap and where the employee name and employee like salary and everything, it is Srivali. So when you are passing this address to the another one, so then how can it change to Sujaya?
Okay, for example, I will tell you one thing. I have keys to my home and you asked me something. I gave a copy to my keys. I gave a copy to my keys. You can still take that keys and go to my home and change something. And when I go home, it will be changed. Do you agree with me?
But still it will be your home, right?
But still, keys are copied here. Home is not copied.
Yeah, that's what keys are copied. Means like
so
this.
You can still, the keys belong to this home. The keys, see, when I have employee is not home. Employee is keys. You are forgetting the fundamental thing. Agreed? When I have employee, see, when I have employee is equal to new employee, is this E the employee? Is this E Srivali? No.
No.
That is keys to Srivali's home. Am I clear?
Okay.
So now I am passing these keys to someone else. I am making a copy of these keys and giving to someone else. And asking them to go to Srivali's home and change something there. You understood, right? No.
Okay. Yeah, I got it now.
Now, but here I is 10. That is not keys. That is the real thing. There can't be keys there. That is real home. Agreed? Value type is value. So simple. In sentence I can't explain more than that. Value type is value. Reference type is not value. That is a pointer to a value.
So here the reference is changed. There
Yes.
the value has changed.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
That's what. We copied value in value type. We copied reference in reference type.
Reference and reference. Okay,
Yeah.
I got it now. Okay.
So someday, that's what I'm telling. When you are programming, one day you'll really get this concept. Until then, wait. Yeah. Agreed. So next thing I want to talk about is, there is another thing I want to talk about. That is, how to write code in Java. See, Java has some standards. We need to, not only learning the theory will help you. There are like, Java is case sensitive. Case sensitive means if you write a big string, this is different from this one. Agreed? When you copy reference type, only the reference value is copied. Okay, so this is different. So I will come back to that Anuradha later. So we can discuss that in tomorrow's class again. So this string is different from this string. All the keywords, Java keywords. What are those Java keywords? Can anyone tell me? Public, void, static. All this will be small case or lower case. All the Java keywords are lowercase. So first understand that. Okay. So if you see a program, you can't write public with capital P. You can't write new with capital new. Understood? That is the first thing. Next thing is, if you write a class name, any reference type, employee, account, string or anything, any class name should have Pascal case. Pascal case, what does Pascal case mean? Pascal case means, for example, you have, let's say bank account. You should write like this. Means the first letter of every word in that should be capital. B should be capital, A should be capital. This is called Pascal case. Okay. Same thing, if you have to write it for, there is a, should be used for classes. Okay, class names. So that is why string is capital S, employee is capital E. You should write with that standard only. Account is capital A. Agreed? So that is Pascal case. Then for variables and methods, you should use camel case. Camel case means, same bank account, if I have to write for a variable, I will write bank account. The first word will be smaller, the subsequent words first letter will be capital. This is called camel case. Or for example, let's say account transferred money. This is called camel case. You see that? M is capital, transfer T is capital, but account is small. That is called camel case. That is the reason calculate should be small. Calculate 1 should be small. Agreed? But pass by value, P is capital, B is capital, V is capital. Do you see that? Agreed? And if you see employee ID, employee is capital, I is capital and D is capital, N is capital, salary S is capital. Agreed? So that is the standard we should follow. Alright?